Dear viewers, welcome to HEA sponsored induction program, and as a part of it, here we are listening a topic, a video lecture for a given topic. I have given a topic of microwave spectroscopy, and we are going to discuss about this topic in detail. Microwave spectroscopy comes under a branch of spectroscopy, especially molecular spectroscopy. Molecule is a combination of at least two atoms. Suppose let us consider there are two atoms A and B. It forms a molecule. There is a bond between the two atoms, and the length, there is some length for the bond, that is bond length especially, and those two atoms are having different masses or same masses. Let us consider a molecule. For example, before going to discuss particularly microwave spectroscopy, first we need to discuss the degrees of freedom for a given molecule. For a given molecule, it is able to rotate in a particular axis called center of mass axis. So, it has rotational degree of freedom, and in the same way it can vibrate from its equilibrium position in a particular direction. So, it has vibrational degree of freedom, and the electrons can make transitions from one point to another point. So, it has a electronic translational degree of freedom, it is particularly called translational degree of freedom. So, the molecule, if we consider, it has 3 degrees of freedom, and because of the 3 degrees of freedom, they can absorb energy and convert it into another form by emitting it out. So, we have 3 different regions of spectrum, or 3 different kinds of spectrum. First one is rotational spectrum, second one is vibrational, third one is electronic spectrum, for example. And here it is microwave spectroscopy, it is also called rotational spectroscopy. So, we already discussed that a molecule can rotate in a center of mass axis. So, if it is if it absorbs the required amount of energy in order to rotate, it can perform rotations, and the absorbed energy is coming out in the form of radiations. They are called rotational, that is called rotational spectrum. Let us consider, in order to learn clearly, we need some quantities. It is linear momentum of a molecule. If we consider, we first have to convert the two atoms molecule into a single mass system. After doing that, we need to consider the quantities like linear momentum, that is a product of m into v, and angular momentum, that is the product of moment of inertia and angular velocity, where moment of inertia is for the given molecule is a summation of m into r square. If it is having two molecules, we need to two atoms, we need to calculate the moment of inertia for each atom individually, then we have to add to get the total moment of inertia value. So, we need that quantities, and particularly in order to study in detail about molecular spectroscopy, for a given molecule we need to specify 3 different axes for the rotation. They are particularly called the principal axis of rotation. They are along for example, they are along x, y, z axis, 3 mutually perpendicular axes. So, let us say for example, I A is along x axis, I B is along y axis, and I C is along z axis. So, by doing that, we can divide the molecules or rigid rotors into 4 different groups. One is linear rotors, one is spherical top rotors, symmetric top rotors and asymmetric top rotors. So, you can observe the differences in all the in all the 4 cases. In case of linear rotors, IA is 0 and IB is equal to IC, and in case of spherical rotors, IA is equal to IB, that is equal to IC. In case of symmetric top rotors, IA is equal to IB, that is not equal to IC. In case of asymmetric top rotors, IA is not equal to IB is not equal to IC. That is the main difference we need to keep in mind for further discussions. And one of the important factor or property the molecule should have to get microwave spectroscopy is it should have a permanent dipole moment. First, we need to discuss about the microwave spectroscopy. Why it is called microwave spectroscopy? See, the rotational spectrum that we are going to get comes under the region of microwaves. In the case of electromagnetic complete electromagnetic spectrum, there is a region of microwave radiations. In that region we are going to get the rotational spectrum. That is why rotational spectroscopy is also called microwave spectroscopy. And it should have a permanent dipole moment. Dipole moment is the product of a charge on either side to the bond length. So, there should be some bond length or there should be some dipole non-zero value of dipole moment to get the rotational spectrum, otherwise there is no rotational spectrum. In case of homonuclear molecules, we do not get rotational spectrum. We get rotational spectrum in case of heteronuclear atoms. Let us consider further, we need to discuss the energy value for the rotation of a molecule. See, here we are not going to do the derivations entire, we are directly going to consider the energy value. Here it is E j, that is equal to h square by 8 pi square I j into j plus 1. This is the energy of rotation for the molecule. If it is a 2 atom molecule, E j is the rotational energy, j is the particularly quantum number, it is called rotational quantum number. I is the moment of inertia, that is equal to mu into r square, where mu is the reduced mass of the system. R is the internuclear distance, that is bond length. Energy levels of a rigid diatomic rotor. Further, it is very important to consider the rotational levels in terms of per centimeter. We usually calculate the energy values in joules, but here we need to consider it in per centimeter. So, with the unit of per centimeter, the energy level is given by h divided by 8 pi square I c into j plus 1, where the quantity that is in the bracket, it is called rotational constant. That means we need to describe the energy levels in the units of rotational constant. Usually it is that important. Then the selection rules for the existence of microwave spectroscopy. One is delta mu is not equal to 0, the change in dipole moment should not be 0, and delta j is equal to plus or minus 1. So, this is the important thing. And allowed transitions which results energy levels. See, for example, if the transition is from 0 to 1, the difference in energy is 2b per centimeter. If it is from 1 to 2, difference is 4b per centimeter, like that it is gone increasing. The wave number of the lines observed in the rotational spectrum will be 2b, 4b, 6b, 8b per centimeter. And one important result is that various lines in the rotational spectra will be equally spaced. Separation between lines is equal to 2b. That is very important. See, for example, we can get spectral lines. There we can observe the spectral lines and the difference should be equal to 2b. That is what it is telling. See, for example, there is one microwave spectrum. What information that we are going to get is each line is separated by a distance of 2b. So, with that result or with that information, we can calculate b value, and b value is actually equal to h by 8 pi r square IC. So, thereby we can calculate moment of inertia of the molecule, and bond length also we can calculate. It is possible to measure b value, right, by taking the spectrum. So, thereby we can calculate bond length. That is the importance of taking the spectrum of any molecule. That is the importance, that is the beauty of molecular physics. There are some examples: rotational spectrum of CO, and intensity of rotational spectral lines, it depends on Boltzmann distribution and number of degenerate energy levels. See, what is that Boltzmann distribution means? Nj by n naught. N naught is the number of molecules in the first state or ground state. Nj is the number of molecules in any higher energy state. And finally, it is equal to e power minus b j into j plus 1 hc by lambda kt, hc by kt. So, the population of energies, the states decreases as the j value increases. That is what is the information. See, the curve is the variation of that nj by n naught value with respect to j. Initially it is maximum and gradually it is decreasing. So, as the value of j is high, the ratio will be small. Next, we are going to discuss non-rigid rotors. In case of rigid rotor, there is no change in the bond, but in case of non-rigid rotor, there is a change in bond. Non-rigid diatomic rotor with M1 and M2 connected by a spring. So, here it is the important thing is in case of rigid rotor, the energy level in terms of wave number is only containing one term, that is b into j, bj into j plus 1. But in case of non-rigid rotor, it contains one more term in addition to the term in rigid rotor, that is dj j square j plus 1 square. Non-rigid rotor, the bond length increases as the angular velocity increases. That is the difference. See, you can observe the spectrum for rigid rotor and non-rigid rotor. Non-rigid rotor plays an important role as the value of j is very large. If the j value is very small, then there is no difference between the two rigid rotor and in case of non-rigid rotor. It makes an appreciable change when the j value is increasing. That is the main difference between rigid rotor and non-rigid rotor, you can observe. And microwave spectroscopy has been used in monitoring and control of industrial processes. It is an ideal process analyzer, and there are some uses. Microwave spectroscopy has been used in monitoring and control of industrial processes such as materials with low dielectric constants such as plastic, glass, ceramics and composite materials, determination of moisture in various tobacco types, monitoring of a batch esterification reaction as in the esterification of butanol by acetic acid, etc. These are the applications of that microwave spectroscopy.